We have all seen the pattern: a grassroots movement, a pure charity, or a well-intentioned revolution builds incredible momentum, only to crack and collapse into the exact kind of extractive system it was built to destroy. We usually blame this on a failure of human nature, assuming the leaders simply got greedy. But the psychic hegemony suggests a different cause: the structural physics of the idea itself. This map is the psychic hegemony. It is a formal mathematical coordinate system for human consciousness. By treating our beliefs as kinetic particles in a geographic space, the corruption of a movement becomes a mathematically predictable trajectory. The horizontal axis measures morality, represented by the Greek letter Epsilon. It tracks who benefits from an idea. The far left is universal benefit, giving to everyone, while the far right is pure extraction for the self. The vertical axis, psi, measures will, the energy direction of an action. The top is proactive creation, the bottom, passive endurance. These lines create four non-negotiable quadrants: the greater good, the lesser evil, the lesser good, and the greater evil. Ideas on this board are never static. As a concept gathers followers and complexity, it accumulates mass, generates its own gravitational pull, and is dragged across the grid. An idea's ultimate survival depends on where it is initially placed and how it navigates the conflicting gravitational wells of this map. Let's look at the physics in action. A new purely altruistic movement usually begins right here, in the bottom left quadrant. This is the lesser good. It has positive morality because it wants to help, but it lacks will. It is passive, lacking energy to defend its borders. This creates the free food paradox. Being unguarded, it acts as an attractor for selfish actors. They siphon the resource, dragging the idea horizontally into the greater evil quadrant. Altruism without defensive willpower mathematically guarantees its own exploitation. To survive, the creator reacts to the exploitation. They build rules, paywalls, and purity tests. This requires active energy, which pushes the idea forcefully up the will axis and into the top right quadrant. It is now a paranoid fortress, the lesser evil. To protect the ego, the creator builds with fired bricks, rigid, exclusionary assumptions that are easy to stack but incredibly brittle. This journey follows a specific rotation. The environment pulls towards selfishness, while defensive will pushes back, tracing a counterclockwise spiral. These temporal paths dictate destiny. The law of empty mass describes inevitable decay, while the path of grace outlines the difficult ascent back toward truth. Without deliberate intervention, the natural current of the human mind drags every unprotected idea into either total collapse or defensive isolation. The paranoid fortress on the top right cannot last. As it adds more exclusionary rules, it accumulates unsustainable mass along the z-axis. Fired bricks cannot handle the weight. Eventually, the sheer mass of the paranoia causes the entire ideological structure to shatter and collapse inward. To reset, the idea must be dragged out of the quadrants and into the absolute center point, coordinate 0, 0. This center point is where the competing poles of self-interest and universal interest finally neutralize. Here, the ego's lens cannot warp your perception. You replace brittle assumptions with igneous stones, raw, indestructible observations pulled directly from reality. Structural clarity requires this intentional destruction of our own protective assumptions to reach the objective truth waiting at the center. From this purified core, the idea shoots upward and leftward, finally entering the quadrant of the greater good. But this coordinate, positive morality, combined with positive will, is an inherently unstable peak. It requires massive, continuous kinetic energy to prevent the idea from sliding back down the spiral. We often mistake goodness for a peaceful state of rest. It isn't. Passive benevolence is vulnerable. True morality is an active, aggressive force. Goodness cannot just exist. To keep an idea universally beneficial, it must be constantly, geometrically enforced against the relentless gravity of human self-interest.